Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some short-term and long-term technical and fundamental analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets. That was a lot of ands, but nevertheless, guys, I do want to kick off this video with some short-term technical analysis, talking about the price level of around $8,505. Now, that does correspond to the 200 daily simple moving average, but it's not just that. There's a lot of other things that go into that price level besides just that moving average that everybody has been talking about. Guys, above this moving average, Bitcoin is looking very bullish. Up here, this is bullish territory. Down here where Bitcoin is currently, this is all bearish territory, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Now, you probably heard some of the things that we're going to discuss in today's video, but I would implore you to watch this again because we may be about to be seeing some major movement on Bitcoin. But guys, we also have some fundamental news we want to dive into because I want to move on to this article later on in the video by Trustnodes. German state bank says Bitcoin to $90,000 ultra hard type of money. And essentially what this article is talking about is the stock to flow ratio on Bitcoin, the upcoming halving, and how that change in the stock to flow ratio should boost Bitcoin's market capitalization and thereby its valuation to much higher levels following the halving. We're going to be discussing that as well at the end of the video because we haven't talked about stock to flow ratio in a little while. It's a very important concept, one that if you're not familiar with, you're going to be familiar with by the end of this video. So I encourage you to watch to the end of this video. And guys, if you do so and you enjoy today's video, make sure you smash the like on this video and also subscribe for more videos. Guys, we're about to dive right on into it, but before we do, I do want to mention the sponsor of today's video, which is the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. There's a $40 off coupon code down below that you can join us with. If you want to learn about technical analysis, the link is in the description. Great product. You guys are really going to enjoy it. More on that at the end of the video. Anywho's, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. We're looking at the BLX chart right now, so we're a day behind, but I do want to talk about the 200 daily simple moving average to start with. You guys know that this is a very important moving average, but you guys also know my take on this, which is that during the beginning of the last bull market, Bitcoin got above this moving average, fell below it, and then got above it again and actually went on the proper bull market. That's something that could be going on right now. We've talked about the worst case scenario on Bitcoin recently, which would see Bitcoin pull back down to around $4,500, and we've also talked about the much better case scenario, the best case scenario, where Bitcoin bounces. I want to talk about that scenario and how Bitcoin may continue higher from here. And this all really boils down to one question, guys. If we're looking at the short-term chart here, we're on the hourly chart. Guys, Bitcoin has been down here trading above $7,750 and $8,000 for over a week now. This crash, it happened on the 24th of September. It's now the 4th of October. And that brings an interesting question. If Bitcoin was going to break $7,700, why hasn't it done it yet? That's something that someone asked me a few days ago, about almost a week ago actually, in the Discord server. And I told them quite simply, there's a main reason why that hasn't happened. It's because the stronger the support level, the longer it takes to break. And while that's very true, even though this is a very strong support level at a 200 daily simple moving average and a very strong support level at 77.50, if Bitcoin was going to break it, wouldn't it have done it by now? Question mark? You'd think. And that's the thing, guys. When you're down here at these levels for this long, if you're testing the level over and over again, you would expect to break it. If we'd come down here and tested 77.50 once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, I wouldn't be saying this. I'd be saying we're probably going to see a break. There's a reason Bitcoin's doing that. But guys, guess what? Bitcoin didn't do that. Bitcoin put one bottom in over here, put another bottom in, and ever since then, we haven't actually come down to this bottom level. We've actually made a higher low. And that's very significant. That's not something that should be written off. If you guys are in CT2A, and a lot of you guys are at this point, you will know these two videos, gauging the strength of support and resistance and gauging the strength of the bulls and the bears. And the way that the market moves around levels of support and resistance is a way that you can determine who's stronger, the bulls or the bears. Right now, we haven't had a whole lot of volatility. Bitcoin's been trading sideways. And the reason for that, guys, is because the bulls and the bears are equally matched and they're sitting above a support level which cannot be broken by either of them, be that weak bulls or strong bears. Neither of the factions seem to be able to be the catalyst that Bitcoin needs to go lower. Now, that very well may change, guys, but for the moment anyway, that Bitcoin has actually set a higher low into motion. This isn't even really a low. We might see something else happen, but for right now, this does look relatively good, but that's relatively speaking, because on the other time frames, it's not so much. On the daily chart, it does look like we're about to see a bullish cross on the MACD. I will give you that. One thing to keep an eye out for this, though, is that this convergence is starting to slow down, and if we do actually have a cross right here, unfortunately, it's not going to be one of these super crosses over here, or like a cross like that. It's going to be kind of a dopey little crap cross like this guy right here. It's not going to actually do a whole lot. We're going to see the cross, and it could very easily cross bearish once again. This, even though it looks like it's going to cross bullish, is not actually looking like it's going to cross bullish in the way we want it to. For Bitcoin to do that, Bitcoin's going to need to get above these levels of resistance at the 200 simple moving average. But guys, that brings me to my next point, and that is that the 200 daily simple moving average is not the only level of resistance that we're looking at. Even though we can't really decide whether or not Bitcoin wants to go bullish, it kind of looks like it wants to because we haven't put a bottom in motion yet. There's very low volatility, so who really knows at the moment? Bitcoin is not only contending with the 200 daily simple moving average. Guys, we need to bust out Fibonacci, and you guys know how much I love Fibonacci. I don't use it on the channel very very much, but it's a very powerful indicator. As you guys can see right here, if we pull out Fibonacci, guess where I got that dollar value from? At the 50% retracement level from our bottom at $3,200 all the way up to $13,800. The halfway mark on that is $8,505, and look at where it lines up, guys. It lines up perfectly with the 200 daily simple moving average. That's the other level of resistance that we're getting, and we need to get through that if we're ever going to expect Bitcoin to start returning to these highs like $14,000. So if Bitcoin does get through both of those, then something crazy is going to happen. Let me tell you what that is. As soon as Bitcoin does actually have this bullish cross, even though it looks like it's not really going to do a whole lot, to be honest, there may be other forces that'll move us. If those can move us to the upside, if those can move us bullish, and we do manage to get above one or both of these levels of resistance, that's going to be pretty big, because that's going to be a sign that the bulls are still in power and that the bulls can actually push us through these levels of resistance and that they may be able to push us even higher. So guys, what I want you to do is I want you to look very closely at the daily MACD chart. I want you to look very closely at the 200 daily simple moving average, the price level of $8,505, because it's an important decision point. And one more thing I want you guys to keep an eye out for is RSI divergence. If it shows up on the daily chart, the 4 hourly, the hourly, no matter where it shows up, it's going to be important. We talked about this regular bullish exaggerated RSI divergence. I think I got that right, where Bitcoin trades sideways on the chart and then has an uptrend down here on the RSI. That's bullish and is probably part of what's been pushing us at least slightly to the upside over the last couple of days. But guys, always make sure you have your eyes peeled for RSI divergence. Anyway, guys, I think that's all the technical analysis I want to do for today's video. So let's dive into a bit of fundamental analysis. This is going to be very quick, but it's also very important. So I highly encourage you to watch through this. One of Germany's biggest banks predicts Bitcoin will reach $90,000 due to the halvening based on a stock to flow model that measures the hardness of a currency. The stock to flow approach originated in commodity market analysis serves to quantify the hardness of an asset. Applied to Bitcoin, an unusually strong correlation emerges between the market value of this cryptocurrency and the ratio between existing stockpiles of Bitcoin, that's the stock, and new supplies, flow, they say. Now, the reason this shows up in commodities is because you can measure the stock to flow of something like corn, or you can measure the stock to flow of something like gold or palladium or platinum or silver, whatever commodity you want to look at. Some people would argue Bitcoin's a commodity, but whether it is or not doesn't actually matter. The point is the same model applies. And as we can see here, as the stock to flow ratio increases, that's this axis down here on the x-axis, as the stock to flow ratio increases, in general, the market capitalization of Bitcoin also rallies. As we can see down here, when the stock to flow ratio was very, very low, back in the infancy of Bitcoin, we saw the market capitalization and therefore the price of Bitcoin was very low. But in general, as the stock to flow ratio has been increasing, so too has the market capitalization of Bitcoin. It follows this trend line, and this is not a trend line that's had to be manipulated. It shows up on a logarithmic chart like this, and it fits almost perfectly. So by their prediction, Bitcoin should reach $90,000 due to the halvening relatively soon. So guys, let's back up a second. If you don't know what stock to flow is, I'm going to cover it very briefly. Come to CoinMarketCap. Most of the information on here is either wrong or outdated by a couple of minutes, or just in general not very useful. There's a reason we don't talk about CoinMarketCap as much anymore. One thing that is very useful and is almost always going to be right on CMC is the circulating supply of Bitcoin. There's about 18 million Bitcoin that have ever been created. Now, there's much less than that actually in circulation. The circulating supply of Bitcoin should be something like maybe 4 to 8 million Bitcoin, but that's neither here nor there. If you take this number right here and you use that in a ratio, combining it with the amount of Bitcoin that's being produced, that's called the flow or the new supply, then you get what's called the stock to flow ratio. In corn, in commodities, in gold and platinum and palladium, you have the amount of stock that is in existence, how much corn is in silos across America, how much corn is in the fields across America, how much stock is there in existence. Now you take that and you combine it with the flow. Now, corn is used every single year. There's no corn from last year being used this year. I mean, there might be, but for the sake of argument, there's not. But there's always more corn being produced. So the stock to flow ratio is very low because there's a lot of flow, there's a lot being produced compared to very low amounts of it in existence. Same thing's true for gold. There's a lot of gold, but there's not a whole lot of gold being produced because gold's been being produced for the last 6,000 years. And as Bitcoin has halvenings, and as Bitcoin starts injecting even less Bitcoin into circulation, and as the logarithm causes less and less Bitcoin to be added to the supply every single year, the stock every single year, then that flow slows down. As you guys can see here, in the first several years of Bitcoin's history, there was a lot of Bitcoin being added. There was a lot of flow and there wasn't much Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin was worth so little. But as Bitcoin starts having less and less of it injected into the system, there's going to be more stock, there's going to be less flow. The stock to flow ratio increases, and so too does the market capitalization. Guys, no matter what happens on the technicals on Bitcoin, no matter what happens on the fundamentals on Bitcoin, there is always an underlying bullish driver. There's a bullish engine pushing Bitcoin in the right direction. It was hard-coded into the design of the cryptocurrency. Every time a halving happens, the reason that Bitcoin increases in value, even if it doesn't happen immediately, but it does eventually increase in value, The reason for that is because there's less Bitcoin being produced and there's more Bitcoin in existence. That stock to flow ratio was understood by Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, she, or they were, and they knew that that would allow for Bitcoin to rally into the future and become more and more valuable in such a way that it would attract investors and allow for Bitcoin to become a global currency. It was ingenious what they did. It was absolutely incredible, and I cannot give enough praise to the creators of Bitcoin, whoever or wherever they may be. Whenever you're feeling bearish on Bitcoin, whenever you're feeling like Bitcoin is going to die, whenever you feel like Bitcoin is going to crash and never recover, remember that an almost magical property was put into Bitcoin, that being the halving. And it's coming, guys. The next halving should be happening in May of next year, so watch out for that. There will be a lot of news about that when it happens. Normally, bull markets start a little while after the halving. Anyway, guys, on what is hopefully a motivational note, we're going to go ahead and wrap the video up. I do hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Before we do wrap it up, I do want to mention the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, guys. Like I said, these videos take a lot of time. Someone snarkily asked, how much does it cost to upload a YouTube video yesterday when I talked about this? Guys, uploading a YouTube video is free, but my time is not. I spend a lot of time on these videos, and Taylor's time is not free either. I pay her. She's a W-2 employee. You know, we have a business here. There's certain expenses that go with business operation. There's taxes. I have to pay CPAs and lawyers and fees and taxes and all kinds of things. It's not free to run a YouTube channel. And the reason that CT2A is here is because I wanted to create an exchange which is beneficial for both of us. Not only do I get to continue making these videos for free for you guys here on YouTube, which I absolutely love, you guys get to learn in a very concise, profitable, and efficient way how to do technical analysis. Guys, the things taught here in this academy took me 2 years to learn of working in these markets every single day. You can do that by this time next week because this is 10 hours of content instead of spending 500 hours trying to learn it on your own. Let me ask you guys something. Why are you in cryptocurrency? I bet 90% of you are going to list at least one of your reasons as, I want to make money. I want to make a return on my investment. Now, of course, a lot of us are here for technology, but a lot of us are also here for making money. We're here to invest. Guys, if you use the $40 off coupon code down below, you're going to join CT2A for $159, and you're going to get access to lessons that could teach you skills that could bring you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in return with your trading, because you're going to actually know how to maneuver in these markets, how to trade in these markets, and obviously, most importantly, how to profit in these markets. I think it's a no-brainer to invest in your education, especially when it's as good a deal as this. People spend $30, $40, $50, $60,000 in college and years of their lives to learn a skill, and I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with that, but I also want to point out that this is obviously a much better investment because you're spending a lot less money, you're spending a lot less time, and you're getting a much more profitable skill that you can implement tomorrow, and you don't have to go applying anywhere to make money in cryptocurrency. That's one of the great things about Bitcoin is it's liberating, it's free. You don't have to worry about someone else telling you can't do anything because their opinion doesn't matter. So guys, if you want to help me to be able to continue doing these videos while also learning how to work in this space and preparing for the coming bull market and the return of Bitcoin bullish price action that I think is going to come before the end of 2019, but maybe on into 2020, now's a great time to join, guys. The link is in the description down below. If you'd like, you can go ahead and join our Discord server and talk to some people that are already in CT2A. Someone did that and asked me to direct them people that were in CT2A, and I asked in general chat, hey, is anybody here in CT2A that would like to talk to someone who's thinking about joining the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy? I want them to have a completely unbiased perspective on what's going on. Here, I'll just show you, actually. Who here is in CT2A that I can talk to for a second? A member of the server is curious about the academy and would like a student's testimony. Good or bad, hit me up and I'll put you in contact. Shouldn't take more than a few minutes. And I expected like one person to respond. We got 4 people. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. I said, thanks, guys. I'll DM you who to message real quick. I want them to have a fair and unbiased perspective on the academy. You don't owe me anything, so be brutally honest, okay? They're talking to them in DMs. They can say good, bad, ugly. I don't care what they say. That's not the point. I want them to be honest because I want you guys to only join CT2A if you think it's a good investment for you. So if you want a fair and honest opinion, join the Discord server down below. Talk to people who are in CT2A. See what they think. If you don't think it's a good investment, don't join it. I personally think it's a fantastic investment, and the 900 plus students who have gone through seem to think so also. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you for sitting through my lecture. I do really appreciate it. It's very humbling that you guys, for some reason, listen to me here on YouTube. Anyway, guys, my coffee is empty and my mouth is getting dry, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video up. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always, though, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.